Go.
Hey everybody, Neal here from Granja Tz'ikin and Groundwork. Today we're going to talk about biochar and how to make it. So first question, what is biochar? Look at this, biochar is mineralized carbon. It's pure carbon, and hopefully if you want to use it as biochar, the finer it is the better. Why is it important? Well, everyone's heard of climate change and rising CO2 levels. This is a way that we can lock up carbon and store it in our soil permanently. This mineralized carbon, if we put it into soil that's, especially soil that's on terraces, where it's not going to erode out, this will stay in our soil forever. And it will get locked up there, and in the process it will massively increase our soil's capacity to hold on to nutrients, hold on to water. This is how we make black soil. But how do we make it? Well, for one thing, you make it by charring organic material, by burning it in without oxygen, right? And so there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. You could just dig a pit, light a fire, set fire to a bunch of wood and then cover it over. That's okay, but it's not great because when you do it like that, you release a bunch of noxious gases. So the way we came up with doing it here at Granja Tz'ikin is following the permaculture principles and stacking function and getting a second and third use to that fire. So what we've developed here is our own patented BioChar Sauna. So what's this? In here we have a fireplace, we have this drum in here, and then we have this secondary drum that sits into this, and it has an exhaust on it. So check this out. This is the exhaust, and this is the biochar. Yeah, so look at that. That's our fresh batch of biochar that came out of last night's sauna. Pretty cool, it's actually still warm. Look at that stuff, so nice, so black. Carbon that will stay here on this farm forever. And what's our parent material? We're using this. It's a byproduct of our coffee making process. These are coffee shells, quite similar in consistency to sawdust, which is another great thing you can use if you don't have coffee shells, but really any dry waste organic product. And well, this just goes in here like this. So we fill this up. And I like to really pack it down when I'm doing this. Yeah, I like to really pack this down because the great thing about this process is those noxious gases, those gases that can be harmful, that get released in the pyrolysis process, those are flammable. So the great thing about this design is this chimney, once we put this lid on, and we seal up this container after I finish packing it down, the gases that come out of this exhaust pipe here, you want to get a shot of that, Carl? The gases that come out of this exhaust pipe, they burn a second time in the fire. So the way this is going to work, I'm going to put, once I've packed this thing up, I'm going to stick it in here with the exhaust facing into the sauna, and I'm going to pack it with light firewood, like these sticks from our trees that we prune. They'll fit in around it. We'll do a second video of that process, but point being, it makes the burn so much more efficient. Instead of having to fill this whole fireplace with firewood and losing most of the carbon up the chimney, the second tunnel, the second barrel takes up most of the space, and we just fill it with this light wood around it, and then the gases that come out of this as a result of the charring down of this material, they burn a second time, so we get a super efficient burn. And then the question is, now that we've got this carbon, this activated carbon, or biochar we call it, what do we do with it? Well, the answer is we're going to take some of our beautifully finished compost from our animal house. This is a mixture of manures and food waste from goats, pigs, chickens, food waste from a bunch of restaurants, inoculated with microorganisms, and we're going to mix them. Yeah, we're going to mix them 1 part this to 3 parts compost, and we're going to add a little bit of water, and we're going to let that sit so that this biochar becomes supercharged with all of the micronutrients and microorganisms, and it will actually provide this compost is just teeming with microorganisms, and those microorganisms will love to make their new home on this biochar and all the surface area it provides. So you can see as I add this, even though it hasn't gone through the activation process yet, look at how it's adding extra tilth. Because the other great thing about this biochar is that it's going to permanently increase the tilth of our soil. It's going to permanently increase the fluffiness and the tilth. It's almost like adding white sand or something like that to our soil. Not only is it a super store of nutrients and habitat for microorganisms, but it's also just literally adding to the tiltiness, the fluffiness, and the drainability of our soil. So it's incredible material. At the same time, not only does it make our soil more absorptive and allow it to hold on to more water, it actually at the same time allows it to drain better. So it's incredible material, and we're going to do another video on the actual process of how we charge this as part of a new fertility series that we're putting up, so stay tuned for that. And remember, if you're going to make biochar, stack functions. Don't just light a fire with the express intention of making biochar. Design systems where the biochar is a byproduct of the section function, and this allows us to have, we do our sweat lodges 2 or 3 times a week, and every time we do it, we're locking up valuable carbon and fertility. So stay tuned for more videos.